Waiting for the stream to kick in. There it goes. Waiting for the stream to kick in. There it goes. There we go. All right. Can I get some hi-hat? What up, Sid? That is Water Park Radio Ad by Freedom Studios. One of the fine songs offered by YouTube for creators to use free, which is good because there's no copyright. How about that? Alrighty, this is Answering Your Financial Questions number 66. And I'm Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. And you can, if you have money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me at calendly.com / Coach Steve Money. That is a video conferencing appointment. So you can do that from anywhere in the whole wide world, as long as there's internet. You can email me about coaching or anything on my YouTube channel at coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Channel donations can go to paypal.me / Coach Steve Money. Alternatively, Cash App, $ Coach Steve Money, or a Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You can have me on the gram at Coach Steve Money. And of course, the YouTube channel is youtube.com / Coach Steve Money. Once again, thanks for 3,000 watched hours in the past year. I am up to dangerously close, knocking on the door to 3,500. And once I get 4,000 and 1,000 subscribers at 884 now, then YouTube will start paying me for views. How about that? One final plug for me, my previous videos, if you're interested in this financial stuff, there's the Answering Your Financial Questions with Coach Steve Money playlist. Right below that is the music playlist, where there are 8 songs that are Ramsey adjacent that are copyright by other people, but that's fine. You can listen to them anyway. And then they'll get some money for that, which is fine. And of course, the Ramsey Show After Show is a playlist, and there are 366 of those. 367 and 368 will be on this Wednesday, February 28th, and then also a Wednesday, March 30th are the next 2 Ramsey Show After Show shows. All right. 7 baby steps. This is like the cornerstone of the Ramsey advice. Steps 1, 2, and 3 you do in order, all one at a time. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3 in order, one at a time. Save $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. Step 1. Step 2, pay off all debt except the house using the debt snowball method, which is smallest to largest. Then when you get done with that, step 3, save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. That's not in addition to the $1,000. You're expanding your $1,000 to a full emergency fund at that point. Steps 4, 5, and 6, you do in order all at the same time. Step 4, you invest 15% of your gross household income into retirement. Step 5, you save for your kids' college if you have them and if you want to help them. Some people don't. Some people want them to forge ahead on their own to build character or for whatever other reason. And then step 6, pay off your home early. And for example, you would do that. You would pay off your home early before you would invest more than 15% of your gross household income. Otherwise, that's debt leveraging your house to invest more. And Mr. Ramsey is anti-risk, so does not recommend that. Step 7, build wealth and give, and that is eternal. All right, let's go to the questions, which of course I didn't get to the right ones. I was waiting because sometimes, like, if I've scrolled down to it and then just left it for like half an hour, and then I come back to it and it has reset for some reason all the way back to the top. Let's see. We want to go to like I think 5 days ago, something like that. I do them backwards so I don't run out of questions, especially when I do more shows. Let's see, where were we? I did that one, okay. I did that one. Choose to intern at SpaceX rather than NASA. You want to work for the government or for Elon Musk? Your call on that one. Getting a used car, we did that one. Words of wisdom towards lifestyle creep. Don't do it. Be very aware of it as your income goes up. Be very aware of lifestyle creep. You start spending more money all of a sudden, and apparently you didn't need to do that previously. If you're forced to pay your elderly parents' medical bills. Okay, I did not do that one. Okay, so let's do that one. Did I sort by new? Darn it. I apologize. I don't have a producer to do this stuff. I don't think I did sort by new. I did not. All right. Let's get down there one more time. What was that, like 5 or 6 days? Come on. 2, 3, 5. Looks like some good questions. There we go. Lifestyle creep. Okay, so entire ad 2551. If you're forced to pay your elderly parents' medical bills. Has anyone else heard of filial duty laws? Is that an actual word? Filial, F-I-L-I-A-L. I have not heard of it. Maybe familial, I don't know. Duty laws in 30 states. That is where a nursing home or hospital, for example, could sue the older person's children to pay off the parent's 6-figure medical bills. How are people supposed to protect their savings and assets from that? Edit. A typo. It was, filial, okay. Duty laws. Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, I would think you would have to at least be like in the paperwork at the child care facility. Let's look that one up. Let's see what the Google has to say about filial or filial. Filial laws. Filial laws require children to provide for parents' basic needs such as food, housing, and medical care. The extent of filial responsibility varies by state, along with conditions that make it enforceable, including the parent's age and the adult children's financial situation. Interesting. Yeah, so I don't know what you can do about that to make sure that you don't have to do that. Let's see, legal obligation. Although most people are not aware, 30 states in the U.S. has some type of filial or filial law, responsibility laws in place. Okay, yeah, I did not know about that. If you want to keep your money safe from being collected for that reason, you should talk to a lawyer, a financial planner, that kind of thing. I don't know if having it in an LLC or something like that would protect it. I don't know what you can do about that. Since it's a state law, apparently. First I'm hearing of that. Red Sox 9547, retirement saving, high earners / no debt post. Okay. That's pretty good. If you can earn high and you don't have any debt, you should be in reasonably good shape. Let's see if they are. For the folks that are in this situation, thoughts, taxable cash / investments, index funds and 5.6% cash, greater than $1.25 million. Retirement, 401k, Roth IRA, his/her, greater than $1.2 million. 2 military officer retirements and 100% VA, greater than 150k per year in 2024, adjusted for inflation. Regardless of what anyone thinks or says, this will never change. Okay. HHI, greater than $325,000, include 1 officer retirement, VA, and other member is still active. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this is the learning episode because I don't know what HHI is either. We're learning. The Google knows everything. I don't think it's the Herfindahl-Hirschman Index, a commonly accepted measure of market concentration. I don't think. Let's see. What is the HHI of the S&P 500? Maybe. HHI is for example, the HHI for an equally weighted 50 stock portfolio is 200. Okay, so I guess they give it 4 points each. HHI for the S&P 500 equal weight index, which comprises 500 stocks, is 20. Okay. Interesting. Okay, I guess that is what it is. I thought it was, let me see, make sure it doesn't stand for something else in the military, because I think, let's see, Hyundai Heavy Industries. Yeah, so apparently it's just that weighted, there's probably funds that are set up for that. And that's over 325K. So I think they're okay for retirement. Let's see, 3 kids, 2 GI Bills, and Chapter 35. I don't know what Chapter 35 is. So no need to save for college. Let's find out what Chapter 35 is too. Steve learns everything today. Chapter 35. BA education benefits for survivors and dependents. Find out if you're eligible for DEA and how to apply. Okay. Fry scholarship or if your child or surviving spouse, a veteran or okay. What does 35 mean? Veteran or service member who has died, is captured or missing, or has disabilities, you may be able to get help paying for school or job training through the DEA program, also called Chapter 35. Okay. All right. Maybe I'll know what everything else means from here on out. We'll see. Technically, baby step 6 is 700K on the house. We're at 925 to 950K, right? Selling house and buying new one due to military, which means you shouldn't have bought it in the first place. Need no advice on what I can and can't afford. This person is great, okay? I don't want you to tell me this. I don't want you to tell me this. I don't want you to tell me this. I only want you to tell me this. Probably has a specific answer looking in mind as well. What are there? I mean, you got everything figured out. Why do you need to know what our thoughts are on it? I never understand that. No other debt, 2 cars, great, okay. But you're debt leveraging the house by not having paid off by doing all this investing. So too much investing and not enough house payoff. Question, not a brag post, some will say it is, but do you think we can stop our 401k contributions, Roth, as we're fine and focus on other stuff? One member would go to 5% for match and the other member maybe 5%, not sure. I think that would be fine, especially if you don't do that, then you'd be able to pay off the house early, and then having the paid off house will definitely help you in retirement as well. So I think you're fine. Except for being closed off to other, other suggestions. But as far as how much, it just depends on how much money you guys are going to spend in retirement. So there's going to be 2 retirees. So they got what, 2.45 million and 150K per year. So and 325K in that HHI thing as well. So I think you're fine. Is that, let's see, 2 military offer retirement, 100% VA. Is that 150 for the both of you or 150 each? I guess it doesn't really matter. Either way, I would assume that you're fine because the 1.25 million in the taxable cash and investments, index funds, and 5.6% cash, so a high yield savings account. For that one, that'll keep growing, and in the 401k and Roth IRA is 1.2 million. 401k, oh, maybe only one of them is military. They said 2 military offers or retirements. All right, some questions here, but we will assume that they're okay. And they can basically do whatever they want. They just wanted our thoughts on it. So yeah, I mean, you might want to go with the match because that's 100%. What is it called? Return on investment. Almost forgot for a second. Learning too many new things. When you learn something, something else has to go out of the brain, unfortunately, and it won't be movie lines or song lyrics. Let's see. One member will go to 5% for match, so you might want to keep the match. But other than that, I think you should be fine to sell your house and put all of that as down payment on new house. Actually, if you can still be transferred, do not buy another house in your next duty post. Do not do that. That is not wise. Wait until you're not going to be moving around anymore to buy another house. Yeah, that's right. I have the investment calculator ready to go if needed for any of these questions. Let's see. Sid says, pronounce filial. Thank you, Sid. I should have looked at that 9 minutes ago. I apologize. I do need to get it so that I can look at my screen right here and also see the chat comments right there or right there instead of having to turn all the way this way for it. So maybe I'll work on a new setup. Here, let's see. As in filial piety, the responsibility to take care of your parents and in old age, a social norm in Asian countries, right? But apparently 30 states it's normal as well because it's law. Genevieve 694, car loan is the title of the post. We have $9,000 left on our car loan. It's a great 2019 Subaru Outback. We're the first owners and haven't had any problems with the car. We take very good care of it. Great. Father gave us not great advice in 2019 when we bought it. I wouldn't buy a new car now if I was buying. Excellent. Anyway, we could trade in our current car for around $19K and they owe 9 on it. Pay off the loan and looking for a used car around 8 to 10. Yeah, that's how you get rid of a car payment. Exactly like that. Thing is, we only have about 50K miles on the car, and pretty much all the cars I'm finding have 2.5 to 3 times that in miles. Should we just pay off our... This is what would Dave do, Flair. I have to open the rest of it to get to the rest. Should we pay off our loan or keep the car? Or should we go through with our plan to get a used car and pay off the rest of the loan? We don't have men in our lives that can really help us negotiate. Yeah, right? Women can negotiate or make sure we're getting a good sale car. Well, you leave the dealer out of it, first of all. And you don't have to have a man necessarily, but do have a mechanic on your side that can look at said car. I don't get pushed around, but I'm worried about possibly getting a problem car and ending up needing to put a couple thousand into that and think maybe it would then just be worth it to keep our current car. Does that make sense? It absolutely does. And the problem is you don't know if your current car, although it has low miles on it, and is lovely so far as you described it, except for the payment. You don't know if that is going to start having problems. So you just don't know. You could buy something and not have any problems or have a bunch of problems with it. The same as on your current car that you could just pay off. That could break down as well and end up costing more. And the problem is we don't know the future. So you just have to take your best guess on it. And of course, if that is the only debt, I understand wanting to get rid of it. And selling it does get rid of that payment immediately. And immediately put you out of debt, I believe, except for that. That's the last debt. So that again is gonna, I leave that up to people if you want to, but generally if you want to do something like that, instead of selling the car, where that's going to be the normal advice, if that's your only debt, if you're willing to sacrifice in some other area, then keep that car. But since you don't know what is going to happen with that car in the future, or with any new car you buy in the future. So I've gone both, well, not to keep the car, but like from when you decide. I mean, it's the same thing if you have a beater car that you did pay cash for already. If you have that, and it has to get a certain amount of work on it, it's like, where do you draw the line on that? Then just, selling it for as much as you can, for scrap maybe, or whatever you can get for it, and just biting the bullet on a new car. So it's just, I like to leave that up to people. But again, if you are keeping payments for a while when you don't have to, then I would expect you to sacrifice in some other area to get that thing paid off ASAP. That's right, the extra at the end there, just for emphasis. J Bain 2 says, planning to move and sell house. Is it better to pay down current mortgage or save for future house? You want to have enough to move in cash, but other than that, you don't know when exactly you're going to move, and you never know, you might not ever move. So just go ahead and pay down the current mortgage, and then when you sell, you'll get all that money back, and then you can put that towards the down payment on the new house. Just looking for a little advice here. Let me see if I answered it from just the the title. I need to try not to do that. I jump the gun sometimes on that. Have around 50K available in a high yield savings account on top of our emergency fund. Excellent. Hopefully a 6-month emergency fund, since you have a house instead of renting. On top of that, we're aiming to save around $2,000 per month additional. We're looking to sell our house and move in the next 6 months to 2 years. Yeah, so you don't know if that's going to happen. You don't know when, etc., etc. Just keep paying down the house. You do get the money back. Continuing on some work things, yeah. So you have no clue whatsoever. Current home is valued around $415,000. Currently owe $262K. Add 2.65, doesn't matter. People always like to say that, though. I guess some financial people want to know that because that makes a difference in their advice. Here, not so much. Let's see, retirement investments are around 20%. That should be 15 while you're paying off the mortgage still. So you're too much in that. So you need to chill out a little bit on that. Contributing well to only child 529. While you're trying to get into a new house, you could also stop that temporarily. No other debt and not planning for any other big purchases. Okay, that would make it easy. From a Ramsey perspective, we're on baby step 6 here. Yeah. Just wondering, knowing our timeline, is it better to put the excess cash on the current mortgage principal to pay it down? Yes, because if you end up staying there for way longer, then you'll be paying less interest. If you move, you'll get all that money back. So when you sell, so win-win situation. Or to save the cash in a high yield savings account? Nope. Do you have the liquid cash available for the down payment of our next home in the next few years? You don't need it liquid. You'll get it from your sale of your current house. Also, I know the high yield savings account is 4.5%, but after taxes, we're not talking a huge difference. Right. So that's not even, and even if it was, that would be debt leverage, and that is not recommended by Mr. Ramsey. He is risk averse. This is from Caramel or Carmel Meow Chiato. Don't know what a Chiato is. Debt snowball versus debt avalanche. Okay, can anyone tell me when the debt avalanche method is better than the snowball? Never. That is paying off credit cards highest interest rate first rather than smallest balance first. A lot of people think that that's better because that is mathematically the right answer. But the problem is some of the highest interest stuff can also be the higher balance stuff. And so your highest interest rate could be your highest amount. And so Dave would rather you get the quicker wins earlier, because the average human being would get more motivated about sticking on this plan with those fast wins rather than paying off something that's going to take a lot longer when it has the highest interest rate. And this is for the advice is for the average human being, what's going to help the average human being. But of course, above average people as well have been very successful on this plan. Just because you're above average doesn't mean you need different advice than something that will work for everyone. Consolidating student loan debt. This is from Jugs. Should I pay off my student loans with my credit card? No, just moving it around doesn't help anything. I only have one credit card, student loan, about $1,000 at 3.6, student loan 2, 4,000. Current credit card debt, 1,000 at 6%. Card goes up to $9,000. Bank account $4,000. You would remove unless that's just like buffer for the next paycheck. If the bank account is savings slash like emergency fund, that should only be $1,000, and you should apply the rest of that to the loan. Like for example, you could cut out that $1,000 loan today completely. Instead of trying to move money around, you just pay off that one and half of the second student loan. Oh no, you would do the credit card as well. So you would pay off and that's at higher interest even than those other two. So why would you put those on a higher interest card? Illogical, Captain. So you pay off with your extra $3,000 that you have in the bank right now, assuming that isn't all needed for rent in a couple of days or something like that. You would pay off the first student loan and the credit card. That's $1,000 each. And then you would still have another $1,000 to put on the second student loan. That's $4,000 balance. And then you just pay that off immediately. So you don't need to consolidate or anything else like that. A lot of people do that and they feel like, I mean, even the reason for wanting to do it, you obviously didn't look at the math. The reason for wanting to do it is it's like, oh, I want to pay off debt. What can I do right now? But doing something right now doesn't necessarily help you. You just pay it off as you go. And again, if that $4,000 is extra, you're doing it wrong. Baby steps in order, and that would be step 1, save $1,000 for starter emergency fund, and step 2, pay off all debt. You do not save any more than that. Pristine Isopod 2988 mortgage payoff plan. Then what? Then you pay it off, and if you're doing it correctly, then you're in step 7, and that's the final gun. How about that? My wife and I purchased a home in September 2023. We devised a plan to be able to have the home completely paid off by March 2025, a 2-year mortgage payoff. I can appreciate that. I wonder what the mortgage was to begin with. I wonder what the term is on it. Interesting. We're excited we're tackling this with such a vengeance to rid ourselves of this final debt we have. Excellent. 35 and she's 33, still babies to some of us. What do we do with our escrow account? Do people set aside an estimated annual tax amount in a brokerage account or high yield savings account? Looking for ideas on how people handle this. Do we max out retirement savings in 401k and Roth? Yes. I'm not sure I want to tie. Yeah, so you would be in charge of either cash flowing those things that come out of the escrow account, which is taxes and insurance, and PMI if you do have that, but probably you do not in this case. See, there were a couple more lines of the question, I think. I'm not sure I want to tie up so much income into retirement because I eventually want to purchase some real estate and even possibly quit my day job. Is going from 15 to say 30% reasonable and yet flexible enough to keep my near future options open. Looking for baby step 7 advice and ideas as to where to responsibly go from here. Okay, so for real estate, for rental properties, that kind of thing, you're buying them all in cash. So the more you would put into retirement, the less you would have to do that. And so you need to make sure you want to be a real estate mogul, first of all, because a bunch of people think they want to do it, and then they realize how much trouble it is and how much money they aren't getting from that. And so if you're thinking about getting a mortgage on rental real estate, that is a no-no from Mr. Ramsey. So you're saying baby step 6, and you said you're looking for baby step 7 advice. So assuming you want to do the Ramsey stuff, then you would be doing it wrong if you're trying to get a mortgage on that. And so if you are planning, again, to buy it in cash, then you save up for cash on that. But you don't stop going below 15%. So if you're doing 15% now, yeah, if you're doing 15% now, you just put what you would be, what you're paying on the mortgage extra now, all that can go into savings for the real estate. And if you think it's going to take 5 years, you can put that in the market and let the market be your savings account. If you think you'll have enough before 5 years, you would just do like a high yield savings account. All right, this one from Zilio85. Pay off mortgage or pay off debts? That, my friend, would be debts, because debts is step 2 and mortgage is step 6. So it's kind of easy to tell, because it's not let's do all the baby steps at one time like some people think. Let's see. Oh, here's a hypothetical situation. Fun times. You own 2 houses. Okay. One of them is a rental house and you live in the other, okay? You have $50K in personal debts. You owe $50K on the rental mortgage. If you're following Dave's advice, you would not owe anything on the rental mortgage because you would have paid it cash. So you sell that one. You have $50K in savings. Would you pay off the mortgage or the personal debts? You should pay off you should sell the rental. So if you have a mortgage on your residence as well, you should sell the rental. Or if you pay, I mean, you can pretend that you never heard of Dave Ramsey, and then and go ahead and pay it off, and then it's already done. And then in your situation there, at that point, you would be fine with the rental since there's no mortgage on it, and then you would just pay off your residential mortgage, but owing money on it now is a no-no, and so you should just sell that one and pay off your debts as well. But let's see, if you pay off the mortgage, then you will get money back, but the interest rate on the personal debts are higher than the mortgage. Edit, the money back would be from rental income coming in, maybe. Unless you have to repair the roof or something like that. Being a real estate mogul is not an easy job. And even if you're hiring a management company to take care of it, guess what? That's way less profit for you then. So at that point, it becomes not worth it. So you really have to know what you're doing and know what the risks are, and because at any time somebody could not pay the rent, and at any time the roof could fall off and you need a new roof, and that's on you to fix. If the house is paid off, then most of that income is profit, which would help pay off debts. Yeah. Still, if you have other debts, you're paying those off first, regardless. Pay those off first, and then you'd pay off. I mean, Dave wouldn't suggest it, but you could pay off the $50K on the rental. Doesn't say, left out, whether the second house is owned. The first one's a rental house, and you live in the other. It doesn't say if there's a mortgage on the residence. Honest Equipment 9851, real estate returns. What am I missing? I have all assets tied up in equities, not recommended. You're doing it wrong, and have been interested in expanding to rental properties as a way to diversify into real estate. Yeah, I hear Dave say he likes real estate. He does. I think his parents were realtors. He's been in it his whole life, basically. And that they print money, and yet when I run the math, I only see returns of like 5%. Am I missing something? I can get that with no effort and minimal risk through index investing. That much is certain. Okay, so what the dealio is, he only buys property if it is a good deal. So he's not just buying just anything. He's buying something cheap and on sale. So when you do that makes it more worth it. So again, it would have to be in cash that you buy it in. But yeah, if you're paying a management company, yeah, your returns are going to be low. And that's why people are like you get into it and then they say, oh, this has been a waste of time. I'm not making any money. And then they get out of it. So it's not for the faint of heart. It's for somebody that really wants to do real estate. If you're only looking at it from perspective of the money, that would not be a good reason to do that. Let's see. It seems that my get-rich-quick scheme is taking a really long time. A little meme posted here, and this is Metro T-Mobile posting that meme for some reason. Ismav 1247. How to do S&P 500 SIP. SIP is a retirement account, I believe. If I recall correctly. Let's see. Nope. Systematic investment plans. SIP investment. A plan in which investors make regular equal payments into a mutual fund trading account or... Okay, so I'm on one then. Okay. People love to throw their own little words into it and they're not necessary at all. You can just say a retirement account or investing account. Let's see. So, international student, currently on an F1 visa. Maybe it's country related. I want to invest in the S&P 500 index fund. SIP. I'm going to do SIP at $500 a month every month. Can you please tell me the best platform for the investment with low charges? Thank you. Any brokerage is going to have their own version of the S&P 500 index fund. So unless I'm missing something and this is an actual different kind of, if this is like a different fund, if the SIP of it is a different fund that just uses the stocks of the S&P 500 and uses the S&P 500 index fund as a basis for it. But as far as I can tell, you just want to invest, and so you can open a brokerage account in any brokerage. I don't know if there's any implications of you being an international student and of you being on an F1 visa. I do not know about that, but you could Google it and find out. But yes, any brokerage, and they all have their own S&P 500 index fund, and I believe there's little or no upfront fees with those if you do that brokerage's S&P 500 index fund. MKB 1823, tight budget so wife can stay home. Yep, and a reason you would do that is if childcare is too expensive. I just put out a video today reacting to an article from a call that Dave did late January, early February. And the parents made, or it was $80,000 childcare a year. And it did not mention the income for some reason. And it also did not mention, well, the reason they call it in the first place is that they're having money problems. Shocker. So I will be doing a part 2 of that. But let's dig in, shall we? But and also the $80K for childcare. The combined income is $180K. So, I mean, that's coming up close to half of the income going to child care? I'm going to go ahead and say maybe the lesser earning parent can stay home. That's what I'm thinking. So let's see. We're new parents and almost done with baby step 2. Congratulations. When we are debt free, my wife would really like to quit her job and stay at home with our baby. Approved, as long as you guys agree to it. And I mean, it will be less money coming home, obviously. But again, with saving from childcare, it may be enough. It may make it worth it. We talked to friends and older people in our lives that wish they had sacrificed more so that other people weren't raising their kids in the early years. Sure. In baby step 2, we're basically living off my salary and throwing all of my wife's salary at the last debt in a snowball. So you just keep living like that. What's the problem? We have a 3-month emergency fund currently, and yes, I know we're doing the steps out of order. That's correct. They know they're doing it wrong. Owning up to that, they're saying, our bad, we're doing it wrong. Yes, I know we're doing the steps out of order. Don't come at me, LOL. On just my salary, our mortgage does go from being 25% of take-home pay to 50%, which I know is not recommended, but that also includes investing over 15% for retirement. So yes, you're doing everything wrong. So why do you care what anybody on the Dave Ramsey subreddit would think about it? I don't get it. Wife is open to getting a part-time job, and if she did that, we'd have a bit more flexibility with the budget. Right. Well, what would make your situation the best for her staying home or for her not staying home would be for you to follow Dave's advice. I'm curious if anyone understand also stayed in the gazelle intense. You're not doing it. Don't throw around the Dave Ramsey phrases if you're not doing them. You're doing whatever you want to do, which is fine. Peace be with you. Peace be with you. Peace and love, obviously. But you're doing your own thing, so go ahead. Let's see. Edit, thank you for all the replies. There was 245 comments. Awesome. I was able to respond to many, but it's getting overwhelming. LOL. Consensus of 50% of take-home going to mortgage is too much, and I agree. Shocker. Okay. You needed Reddit to help you figure that out? My investing in the health insurance premiums with the whole family on it would come out before my paycheck, which I didn't clarify initially. Not sure if that helps the math problem, but I figured I would share that. The wife is definitely open to part-time work, and we're going to do this. That needs to happen in the near future. Even $1K a month would allow us to pivot for a small emergency or go toward a vacation or something one day. Thanks for those that sent encouraging notes to us new parents. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead. You're going to be shocked. I'm going to go ahead and recommend to you, regardless of if your wife stays home or not, I'm going to go ahead and recommend to you a little thing we like to call the baby steps in order. That would be the recommendation. Green Beat 718. Where's Dave been? This is week 3 and I'm certainly having withdrawals. He might be back tomorrow, which is Monday the 26th of February. I think it was about Tuesday where somebody asked how long he's going to be on vacation, and Mod said a few more days, and so a few meant 3. And so, or that might have been on Monday, and so it meant Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then he's off every Friday, so I knew that wasn't happening. So I think maybe Monday, maybe tomorrow, he will be back. But you see, when you're a owner of the company, you can approve yourself to be on Davecation whenever you would like to do that. Do they still do the Millionaire Theme Hour? I haven't heard in a while. Well, generally Dave is there for those, and so perhaps this week. I think they've been doing those on a Friday, I think. No, not a Friday. It can't be, because he's not there on Fridays. So yeah, so maybe even tomorrow. Faiza, Faizah, _ 22-year-old, still a baby, wanting to start the baby steps, need help figuring it out, okay? I will be more than happy to explain it to you. Just had to Have a little bit of water. This episode brought to you by Creaky Water Bottle. Hi, 22 female. Recently came across the Ramsey Show on YouTube, and that S makes sense. Alrighty. So I am now wanting to. It's Reddit. It's the internet. So I am now wanting to embark on baby steps. Great. I don't have a bank account, and I deal completely in cash and digital financial services in my country. All right. For your understanding, $1 is 120 taka in Bangladesh, my country. So $1,000 is an average senior level salary here. Okay, well it would be you can convert $1,000 to your country. Oh, but you're saying it would take a while to get to $1,000. So let's see, I earned $30,000, so around $280 to $300 from teaching. Is that a month or a year? 5K equivalent to $50. Seasonal from my small business, but the cost of living there hopefully is very, 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 very low. That's quite a bit of. So you're taking off 2 zeros for the conversion. 5,000, yeah. To 5,000 equal to 50. So you're taking off 2 zeros for the conversion. So in that case, that would be a what would be a $10? You'd have a $10 emergency fund, which makes sense. If you make $300 a year, you would have a $10 emergency fund. Okay. All right. Just the starter emergency fund. So let's see. I don't have student loans as I'm on merit scholarship. Excellent. But I have consumer debt for my phone and clothes for an event, which sums up to $120. Okay. So the problem for most Americans probably would be relating the other way to this. Normally it's like when people call up or they have high incomes, like $300,000 or something like that, then people just can't relate to it because they apply that $300,000 to their $50,000 of debt and think, oh, well, if I had that would be no problem. But they don't think about, well, that person probably has percentage-wise the same ratio of income to debt as you do, if not more. A lot of times the high income earners go more into debt, more percentage-wise. Anyway, so that's taking 2 zeros off of our the US dollar. So hopefully the cost of living also does that. Let's see, I'm able to save around 8K. So that would be $80 on average after transport, I think. Yeah. Transport takes a lot of my expenses because local transportation is not safe and I am plus size. I use ride sharing apps like Uber. Okay, to save $1,000, it would take me 12 to 14 months of pure discipline and penny pinching. Bangladesh is also going through inflation where basic expenses shot up 60%. So that's the problem. With this in mind, how should my baby steps look like? I have no idea. I can't tell you because if there's a certain percentage that it goes so that I can understand it from US dollars, and now the expenses because of inflation has gone up and your salary has not gone up, your income hasn't gone up to match that, then you have a big problem. But I would at least start with it. You know, you cut back and you don't buy the expensive stuff. And no eating out. So no, so you're using the Uber to get around, and that does get expensive on its own. And no Uber Eats, no having delivery. You make food at home. And you have to live on as little as you can. But like I said, I mean, if it's $10 is your emergency fund to start out with, and that is just too hard to relate with. But I mean, a $300 for, I guess, an annual salary, and $50 seasonal from the small business, but it is not stable, so you don't consider it steady. Yeah, that's a good idea. But having debt with that, but the debt is only 120, so keeping in mind all these I mean, and that's basically, so that would be like a $1,000 emergency fund to start out with, but then you also have $12,000 in debt is her situation. And so the problem is what the cost of living is there. Basic expenses 60%. It doesn't say how long it's taken for that to go up 60%. But that is nutty. So again, I would just go by the breakdown of the conversion and try it with $10. But if inflation is outpacing that, like if it has gone up 60% in short time, I don't know how you're going to manage making any extra debt payments. Fortunately, it's a low amount, though. Like I said, though, $1,000 emergency fund for us in your situation would equal $12,000 in debt. That is nutty. Let's just take a look on the old Google. It's the learning episode. Sid, if you're still here, what do you think about that? Let's see. Bang. Whoops. P-A-N-G. Dash. Inflation. Inflation, how about this? Inflation overall. Okay, so it rose to 9.86% in January 2024, up from 9.41 in the previous month. So that's the highest reading in 3 periods, but apparently not the highest ever. So, and it was 8.49% in December 2023. So let's see, inflation, his last 10 years, that's what we want. Last 10 years. $1987 to 2024. So let's see, in 2019 it was 5.59% and 2022 7.7. So it doesn't seem like it's done that unless that's like just very recently that it's done that. But you never know. Other countries it could be way worse than it sounds. All right, this is from D Thatch 41. Advice on vehicles. All right, you only buy them in cash, and you don't buy a new car unless you are a millionaire. That means you have $1 million net worth. Just wondering what people would do if they were in this situation. Total income, $180K. Paid off house, excellent. No debt, excellent. Fully funded emergency fund, excellent. However, my wife and I put a significant amount of miles on our vehicles for work. Currently have 2013 Elantra, 192 miles. 2014 Fusion with 195k miles. Okay. Elantra being driven. Okay. And Fusion being driven. All right. I mean, if they're still running, you may need to make a change. Looking at new to us vehicles, but unsure the price. Yeah, and see, that shouldn't be a situation where you're like, oh, I want a new one. Well, I want a new one too. I mean, I understand you have you have no debt, so you know, theoretically, you'd be able to save up to buy in cash pretty much anything you wanted to. But again, if you're not a millionaire, you wouldn't buy it. Let's see what the extra bit of the question is. And what to look for criteria-wise, given how many miles we were putting in on the vehicles. Well, you're running them down, so you basically, anything you buy, no matter how nice or reliable or anything like that, you're just running them down. Maybe you want to consider moving closer to works, hopefully in the same direction and not opposite directions. I feel like we're just bleeding cash from our vehicles, especially with them already being depreciating assets. Well, new to you cars, like a newer used car, is going to be depreciating as well. So you can't use that for justification on that. Whatever in thought. Price point, miles, years old, specific make, etc. Unless they have a problem, you don't need to change. I would wait for it to be a problem. You keep those up, you keep the maintenance on those up, and you try to keep those going for as long as possible, and then you get another car, and you can upgrade if you want. And if you're a millionaire by that time, you can buy a brand new car. It's up to you, but you already don't like the depreciation on the old cars. You're not going to like it on the new one either. So it's not a thing of just being, oh, okay, well, we're on baby step 7. And so that, I mean, that's, if you don't want to, if you're not buying anything else, and if you can save up the money to buy it in cash, you most certainly can. Income 180K, so the vehicles should be at max worth 90K. But I don't know that I would spend that much on a vehicle, especially, like I said, you're wondering about them being depreciating assets. So this is one of those questions where it seems like they want everything all at the same time. They want it, they don't like it being a depreciating asset, and yet they both want to replace cars that they didn't say were broken at the same time. So that would be another thing that I call intellectual dishonesty with each other. So those would be the questions that I would ask there. Is like, why do you want to replace it, and why both of them at the same time? So it can't be just like, oh, well, then we won't be tied if we don't both have new to us cars. So I don't know the reasoning on that. And did not want to read through 16 comments to find out if it was addressed. A lot of times you say, oh, I'll wander into the comments to see if that's addressed, or if it's expanded upon by the OP, the original poster. Let's see. That's from Anon hyphen Reddit hyphen sub. Hey, look at that. I know a person named Anon. Advice needed. Recovering financially after massive losses due to gambling and trading addiction. Okay. Hello all. As far as I know, she doesn't have a gambling and trading addiction. Hello all. I'm reaching out to this community in a moment of humility and hope. As a mid-30s individual in the tech industry with a base salary of $200K and an OTE. Another thing I don't know of. How many freaking anagrams do there have to be? Or what is that called? I can't remember. OTE, my goodness. OTE. investing. Open trade equity is the net of unrealized gain or loss on open contract positions. Oh, okay. Yeah, so don't do that. You just buy mutual funds. So you're not doing that. So you need to get rid of that, and that's part of your problem, the trading. And that's how you have massive losses on gambling on that, which it is. You're not trying to day trade here. You want to save for retirement. Let's see. So OT of 250K. So that's losses on that. So yeah. So I find myself in challenging financial and personal situation. Stop it. Due to a series of misguided decisions as it relates to addiction. Sure. Over the counseling. Over the past few years, I was heavily involved in online gaming, high leverage gold trading, and options trading. What began as small ventures escalated into significant losses. Let's see what the rest of it is. Significant losses as I chased my losses. Yep, throwing that good money after bad is what that's called. Yep. You don't learn your lesson from the initial loss. You say, "Oh, I can make it back," and that's how you get addicted to gambling. That's when you're addicted to gambling, that you think you're gonna win. This journey culminated in a moment of truth with my wife, to whom I've now disclosed everything, so was keeping it from wife. In an attempt to address my debts, I depleted my 401k and incurred further liabilities. That was a mistake. Dave would have not recommended that. $200K, $250K, OTE. So I thought that said it was losses. I guess it can be losses or earnings, I think it said. With very good chance of earning more this year. Yeah, that's what you thought previous years as well. Get away from that. Plus my wife's part-time income, approximately 40K, potentially increasing to 85K within the next few months due to promotions. What's the cash on hand? 16K. Paid off vehicle, we're at 16K. Home valued at 800K in a medium low cost of living area. Doesn't say how much the payment is on it. Oh, the mortgage is 340K. Yep. Hey, you could sell that. The HELOC. Oh my goodness. 200K on the HELOC. So hopefully, okay, so it's, yeah, so the house is valued for 800K and you owe 340 on it. If you sell the house, you can pay off the mortgage and the HELOC and still have 200 and something K, and you would get a house with that money. And the rest for gambling debt consolidation, just moving it around. Credit card debt's about 30K, various loans 60K. So you would put all of that on, sell the house and put the all of that to that consumer debt. All these debts outside of the mortgage and 100K of the HELOC is from my addiction. Oh, all right. Yep. Well, my journey to recovery has begun with admitting my problem. Great. Seeking weekly professional counseling. Great. And now strategizing a financial comeback. That means you're not spending money on anything else and you're getting out of that expensive house. Doesn't say what the mortgage is still, so. But yeah, you're getting out of that expensive house. You're rebuilding, and then you can get, once you get back on after baby step 3, you can save a down payment for another house. The possibility of selling a home for a fresh start was considered, but it's a step my wife is understandably hesitant to take, and I feel guilty even bringing it up to her as I put her and my 2 young children in this position. Okay, well, I mean, that's when you have to talk to her and you guys decide about that. So it's going to be a lot worse if you don't sell the house. It's going to take you much, much longer to get out of this. Now, if she's considering, if you guys are keeping finances separate, or maybe she's just choosing to keep your addiction debt separate, then maybe she's not thinking about how it will affect her, but I mean, it's going to affect her because all your money is going to go to pay off the addiction debt. And so you guys have to discuss that together. Oh, as always, communicate and compromise always. That's how you keep your marriage together. After everything has been paid for, we have anywhere from $2K to $4K left per month. Yeah, and that's going to take a long time to pay that off. Which I plan to throwing to the debt snowball, this along with throwing 100% of my monthly commission toward the snowball. Great. As well, should hopefully allow us to get rid of the unsecured debt within the next 1 to 1.5 years. All right, if you can do that. This said, I'm here seeking advice from those who navigated some. Yeah, I've not been in that much trouble, thank goodness. How can I best approach the situation to secure a stable future for my family? The best way would be to take care of it immediately by selling the house. If your wife doesn't want to do that, you ask her, well, what are your ideas then? Any constructive feedback or guidance would be immensely appreciated. Before the inevitable negative comments come, I mean, it's not negative from me. I'm just telling you the truth about this. You could take care of it by moving down in-house, and that house, let's see, $800K. Now, granted, they could have gotten the mortgage when it was not valued as much, but $200K, and so that's $250. So is that a combined $400K? So $400K from just you'd be able to afford it, but I don't know about this OTE if it's that you gambling on investing thing, or if that's some kind of benefit for work or something like that. So if that's income, if that's $250K income, and then that house would be in your price range. But the problem is all the other debt that you have. And you could make it all go away immediately if you sell the house. I can understand her not wanting to, though. And so, but then you have to sacrifice big time to get rid of that addiction debt. And she will too, whether she realizes it or not. Let's see. Oh, before the inevitable negative comments come, please know that you can't bring me any lower. I fully recognize the severity of my actions and am committed to changing my future. Great. Thank you for taking time to read this. Read my story and for any advice you might offer. All right. Well, that would be it. You can sell the house and get it all taken care of fairly soon. Or you can take the slower pace and keep the house, sacrifice in whatever areas you can, which again, the wife might not be amenable to. What is the budget for a good used 7 seats car, not a beater? I don't know. Don't know prices of cars, not into cars, just want to get from here to there. I don't need 7 seats for anything. And unless you have a basketball team you have to transport, neither do you. Growing up with digital money and the use of debit card. I grew up with my money almost always being a number, almost never cash. Okay? I prefer this number to be high and dislike when it drops. Okay, sure. So when I withdraw from the ATM, that number is already decreased and the money is gone. If you have to buy something, the money's gone no matter what. It feels like I'm carrying around free cash with me. It's not. You just said you don't like it when it drops, and it drops when you get cash to buy stuff with. So I don't understand that. I feel like I spent more recklessly. Specifically for me, it makes more sense to pay with a debit card. I did that as well. If you can stick to your budget on a debit card, more power to you. Go ahead and do that. There is considerable amount of research indicating that people tend to spend more when using debit credit cards. Right. I'm curious if this assertion is widely held. Yes, it is. Plenty of universities have done studies on it, and most people do. Now, if you are the one that's not, and you can do that and stick to your budget, go ahead. But some people have more trouble spending cash, which is why the envelope system began, where you put the cash in there and you have to take your hard-earned cash and hand it to the cashier instead of just swiping the card or inserting the card and putting the PIN number in. Even Cat 4045. I was on the Dave Ramsey show yesterday. All right, pretty nervous. So that was 4 days ago, okay? So probably about a week ago. Maybe 2 Fridays ago. I was pretty nervous, so it wasn't exactly how I intended it to be. But anyway, my story is that I have $17K loan on a car, $60K in student loan debt, and $10K in credit card debt. Only make $32 a year at Sam's Club, okay? I have 2 classes left to get a criminal justice degree that I'm not even sure what to do with. I am, however, a test away from a real estate agent. Okay. So many things going on here with the debt and criminal justice degree, 2 classes away from it, and a test away from real estate agent. Are you not finishing everything? Are you not good at finishing things? They informed me that I should sell my car, even though I have a negative equity of $2,500 to $5,000. That gets rid of your car loan. Even going as far as saying I should take out a personal loan to pay for the negative, to pay the rest, which is absurd to me. You're the one not having taken the 2 classes for a criminal justice degree that you've been paying for, you have student loans for, and you don't even know what you're going to do with it. And you've obviously been taking other tests from being a real estate agent. I don't think those are free either. So you've been spending money on that. So that's not absurd to you? Let's see, only to then have to drive a basically $1,000 piece of junk waiting to explode. This is what we call an exaggeration. Justification station here. I've never missed a payment or on anything, just a lot to pay. Have a $1,000 emergency fund. What do you guys think? Sell the car like they told you to do. Sell your car, move down in car. And even more important than that, figure out your life. Figure out what you're going to do with your life. Do you want to do something? Find out what you can do with the criminal justice degree. How did you pick that degree when you went to college? Just was thumbing through the options and just said, oh, criminal justice will be cool. Or you saw some procedural on TV and thought, oh, I'll do that. And then just, you're not sure to do with it. Find out what you can do with it and maybe complete those 2 classes. Or if you'd rather be a real estate agent, do that and make more than $32K a year. So you figure out your life first, and then probably, still sell the car. You didn't say how much the payment is a month, but and how much interest is on that. Did not say that. So 526 comments on that. Not taking a look at all. Not even if you paid me to do that. I might if you paid me. To be honest. Low Cookie 3731 Stork mode for other life events. Well, I mean, that would be an emergency, and that's what the emergency fund is, or that would be pausing the debt snowball and just piling up money, basically, which you do for Stork mode, which is if you are expecting a child. But for other life events, let's see what other life events there are. Having a baby coming, so Stork mode is different than, say a friend or relative is getting married in Hawaii. And then you got to pay to fly your own self there and other extra expenses related to that wedding. So that's a no for me, dog, if you're on baby step 2. There's no travel on baby step 2. I made a short from a previous answering your financial questions back when it was called Ramsey Coach. With that, because somebody wanted to travel. It's like, no. I have a money mindset question. All right, I've been listening to Ramsey's show for about a month now, and I'm intrigued. How are you? I've heard Rachel and Jay specifically talk about Stork mode, meaning when you have a child on the way, pause the debt snowball to stack cash for expecting child expenses, right? Which I think is great. Me too. My question is, I want to Stork mode my higher education. Okay, that is not Stork mode for that. That is not a life event that's happening. This is a planned expense that you know exactly how much it is. And if you don't know, find out how much it is, and then you save up and pay for it, or you get grants or scholarships. So I've started a grad school program that I Stork moded while still having $25K in student loan from it, and that's debt leverage, which Dave is not going to recommend that. Okay, grad school program, started a grad school program that I Stork moded while still having $25K in student loan debt from my undergraduate year. Grad school will increase my income to around $100K within the next 5 years. You hope. See, people always throw that around. Sometimes people do grad school and then they don't make any extra money. That does happen. I do not plan to stop my cash flow. Higher education. Okay, what's the question then? I obviously did not go into this program thinking or even aware of Dave Ramsey. Sure, but why is the advice for Stork mode only apply to bringing children in the world versus other life events and achievements that fit with that person's goal? Hope this makes sense. Yeah, the difference is that having a child is not the same as that's bringing another human into the world. That's part of your family. It's not your college education. Two different things. Two vastly different things. Also, the one is you don't know what expenses will happen with a child. I mean, you can, you can look at how much diapers cost. You can look and see what this is or see what this is. The main reason you pile up cash, though, is if there is a problem during the Stork mode. And if there's unforeseen medical expenses and such during that time. That's why you do that. So the undergraduate degree or the graduate degree is not nearly the same thing at all because you know in advance how much it's going to cost. So it sounds like you just wanted somebody to agree with you that that was a good idea, but it's not. And so you said you're not gonna not do it anyway. So good luck with you. Peace and love. Peace and love. Old underscore abalone or abalone underscore 24252. Should I become a landlord? Probably not. If you have to ask, probably not. I'm exploring real estate investment in Central Florida, aiming to use a portion of my $70,000 savings for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath property. I'm eyeing assumable mortgages on platforms like withrome.com with rates from 2.75 to 4%. An assumable mortgage entails paying the previous owner's equity and assuming the remaining mortgage balance. And that's a negative, dog. That's going to be a no for Dave, dog, because you do not have mortgages on rental property. You buy them completely in cash. So, no. And let's continue here to see what else is wrong with your plan. Mortgage balance. I've seen properties that would require 30 to 50K down and result in an 1,800 and 1,900 mortgage. Okay, due to my lack of landlord experience, I plan to use a property manager, and that is going to cut into your profit. Maybe take it all. If you buy it and it needs a new roof, that could actually put you in debt. You may not be bringing in enough to cash flow that new roof. And so that's going to be a no for me, dog. But I mean, I see what you're saying. I see if so, the properties require the 30 to 50K down payment and result in an $1,800 to $1,900 mortgage. Why would you even bother? You would just buy it cash outright. You don't need the mortgage. So you just pay it the mortgage all off immediately. So if you assume it and pay it all off immediately, I don't have a problem with that. That's the same as buying it in cash to me. So, but I'm going to say no, dog. If you have to ask, should you, then you either don't know enough about it already, or you don't have enough drive to make yourself do that. To have to do it, basically. Like, oh, not just I really want to do that. And especially if you're just looking at it from the money perspective, there's easier ways to make that money, and they are called mutual funds. Dave Ramsey. Beginner reading video list. Where to start for an absolute beginner seeking to protect savings, manage debt. Well, you're not protecting the savings from debt. You are putting it all onto debt except for $1,000. And so what you can do, there's this thing called YouTube that has videos on it. And Dave has so many videos on his channels. There's the Dave Ramsey Show. There's the Ramsey Highlights channel. Rachel has a channel. George has a channel. Ken Coleman has a channel. And so you can get advice on anything, basically. So if you go to YouTube and just type in Dave Ramsey, or just go to one of their YouTube channels, like you would go to Ken's if it's going to be a career question, that kind of thing, and then you just have to can scroll down and click on the search for that particular channel, and it searches within only that channel's videos. But you can just go to the top one on the YouTube and type in Dave Ramsey investing, or are you talking about manage debt? Well, you're not managing debt, you're paying it off. That's a different thing. Managing debt means that you think it's going to be around a while. That's not what we're trying to do here. You're just paying it off if you're going to follow Dave's advice. So you would just type that in, Dave Ramsey manage debt, and you would see videos on that. But if you do the full web search, you're also going to get people that say his advice is not correct, which they are the ones that are incorrect on that. Fuzzy Thought 5769 paid off credit cards. Excellent. Just paid off my credit cards, $9,200 total with my tax return, child tax credit. Yo. So I don't know how much the child tax credit did that, but you can adjust your withholding so you get that money. So if you got a close to $10,000 tax refund, that's the same as giving the government a $10,000 loan interest free. and then they just save it up for you, and you're not earning any interest. So you could have paid off the credit cards before now by having that in out of each paycheck instead of having them save it up for you. Put $2,000 in the savings afterwards, and now paying extremely aggressively on our family minivan. Okay, you're doing it wrong. You should have $1,000 emergency fund. Oh, before anyone says it, my tax return was 0. I only received money for the child tax credits. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So, and I guess you don't get that. You can't adjust withholding. I mean, I guess you could, but if you want to make sure you don't run into trouble, I guess you could do that. I guess you could leave it, but you could still adjust your withholding for that, and then you would owe that if the child tax credit ever went away. So I understand if you don't want to have to keep up with that, but it would do you better to do that because then you'd have the money ahead of time. Crazy House 12 annuities. Getting ready to retire in 3 years, 1 month, 28 days. Who is counting? You are. I started talking to investment advisors. One thing I have is my late husband's thrift savings. I have my own investments as well. The lady was asking me about debt. I'm debt-free. Excellent. The only wolf I have at the door is my property tax. I live in Illinois, so it's insane. She suggested I put the thrift into an annuity and draw out the tax amount each year. I read up on annuities. Now, if you want to, you can put it in a high yield savings account instead and make like 5% or so on it and then draw the tax amount each year. Or just a regular savings account. But do not, no annuities. Dave does not like annuities. My impression is it seems more like a scam for the company who holds it. Yeah, exactly. Def not burner account, and by recommending that, the investment advisor probably makes more money for getting clients to put money into that. Def not burner account 0. That's totes sus, my friend. Needing some convincing to clear this debt. 61K student loan, potential storm. Approximately 20K over the next few months. What? Potential storm? What does that mean? I don't know what that means about the potential storm. Does that mean about like you would have to pay 20K on the 61K student loan? Don't get it. Cash, 70K income, approximately 12K net per month, expenses 7K, so that's 5K cash flow a month. I'm so scared to pay off the debt. So excited as well. Usually this is a sign of growth. Please convince me to pay it. Baby step 2. So it doesn't say. Oh, the cash it has 70K in cash. Yeah, you pay it off. And then you have not only the 5K per month, but you also have what you were also the minimum payment on the student loan a month. And that way you could cash flow this potential storm of approximately 20K. And that's only potential. So you may not even have to do that. So yes, pay it off. And you said, convince me to pay it off? If you want to get out of debt, which you should, that's Dave Ramsey's advice. That's the best thing for you, the best thing to get you from where you are now to where you want to be financially. And so you need to convince yourself to do it. Look in the mirror. You're the problem. From AABBCCGJKH. They didn't want to go in order anymore. Become a cop, make bank, ball out. All right. Tons of people on the sub are calling the show are faced with the predicament of wanting more money, not knowing what to do. I present to you my personal case study on why to become a cop. Credibility is that I'm pretty basic. So basic. 38-year-old police officer is married to another police officer, 22 to 25 years old. Baby still. We probably both had negative net worth, and it's now $1 million. We have been big city police officers for 16 and 15 years. Oh, that's right. That was the 22 to 25 years old that was previously in their life because he's 38. Last year we each made 140K working about 50 hours a week. All right, yeah, it's not for everybody. You can't just say that, just like you can't tell everybody to, oh, you should be a landlord. Or you should be anything, really. It's not for everyone, but there is good money in it, possibly, especially as you have more experience in it. But there's obviously risks. @_random. Meaningful, inexpensive gifts. Hi all, my mother's starting her baby step journey. Excellent. She so desperately needs to pay off her debt before she can retire, right? My mother is a huge gift giver. Anytime we have a gathering, she has a gift for at least 2 people. I'm really going to have to give her some ideas of inexpensive gifts that are meaningful. Stuff that she makes herself that doesn't require a lot of going to Hobby Lobby and spending a lot of money on components of whatever she is making. I don't want to change the person she is, just redirect what are some inexpensive but meaningful gift ideas that I can give to her. Yeah, have her make it herself, and that means even more if she makes it herself rather than if she goes to buy it. Fluffy Diamond 6205. What would Dave do? Okay, so somebody that wants to actually know what Dave does, because you never know. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Like the one person that said, I'm definitely not going to be changing what I'm doing. Hi there, my husband and I just paid off our mortgage and are now debt-free. Excellent. We're contributing to our 401ks at 15% each with employers matching. So that should be 15% each of your own money, not including the employee match. That is just extra. Gravy on the biscuit. My husband will also get a pension, and we have some IRAs as well. Have 529 accounts we're contributing to for our children. We have 44,000 in savings, which is more than we need for an emergency fund. Okay, that's more than 6 months. Should we put the extra in a high yield savings account? You can, or money market account. What would Dave tell you to do? He would tell you you're on step 7. No debt until you have the full emergency fund, and you're investing the 15%. You are contributing for the children, so that's step 5. Step 6, pay off the house. You've already done that. So that the extra amount, it probably is not going to be that much of the 44,000, but you can put that extra into a high yield savings account if you want. Or you can even invest more. You can max out those 401ks because you can invest more than the 15% on step 7. So it's up to you. Granted, it being put into a 401k means it's locked up because there'll be penalty and interest if you need the money or just want to take it out for something. Whereas a high yield savings account, there's not generally. Read all the fine print on those high yield savings accounts. And if your emergency fund's in a high yield savings account, you have to have a debit card or check writing privileges to that, because emergencies do not wait 1 to 3 days for a transfer. So yeah, step 7, you can invest more, and you can either just put it in savings, or you can put it actually in the market. Like I said, you can put more money into your 401ks and completely max that out, and you can max out IRA as well. So you can do whatever you want to, or you can spend some of it. You just got on step 7. Maybe you celebrate if you haven't done that. So, I mean, you can take a couple $1,000s and do something fun. Or even more. You can take a vacation. Whatever you can budget now, you can do. And you generally don't want to go crazy, because going crazy will probably put you back into debt, and that's not what anybody wants, do they? Oh, another what would Dave do? How about that? 2 in a row. What time is it? 4:38. I'll probably do another 2 hours again today, so probably another 22 minutes at least. Accomplish Yam 3553. What would Dave do again? I have approximately 45K in my TSP account. I'm no longer able to contribute to it, but it still makes interest rate. I can't move it to a Roth IRA. Should I leave it alone in the TSP program? You probably can move it to a Roth IRA, but there would be, because the TSP is the military 401k. And so you can move it to a Roth IRA, but there would be, you would have to pay taxes on all the contributions that you put in it. So should you leave it alone in the TSP program or move a different form of retirement account? It's up to you. It's up to you. Moving it to anything is going to result in the tax implications on it. Rolling it over, and just withdrawing it would also be a penalty too, I think. Confident AF 4934. Then why are you asking a question? Paying of debt. I'm expecting a decent tax return, and you shouldn't. I don't need feedback. What does that mean? You're going to get it anyway. You should not get a decent tax return because, again, that is giving the federal government an interest-free loan on the amount that you get back. So you're losing out on the money that you would get if you just got it over time, over the year, where you could apply it to whatever baby step you're on, like the paying off the debt. You could have some debt paid off if you didn't get a decent tax return. Don't need feedback. I'm asking about opinions on how to best pay down credit card debt. Cards range from $450, smallest to largest. My thoughts are to pay off one card completely. I already did, okay? And then to pay down the card with the highest payment so that I will pay less in interest overall. I know Debt Snowball says exactly, but it feels like it makes more sense. Sense is spelled incorrectly. S-E-N-C-I. It's S-I-N-C-E. Maybe it's a typo on a phone. The kids using the phones these days. Smaller buttons than a computer keyboard, so I get it. But yeah, that person, I don't need feedback. I'm asking opinions on, this is the specific thing I want you to talk about. And I'm already going to do it my own way, so it doesn't matter. So that's why I moved on. Good luck to you, sir. Peace and love, peace and love. I paid off all my debt aside from my mortgage. Excellent. Now to mortgage. Today I paid off my BFA credit card, buyer's own card. I know. Yep, and my Synchrony card. After that, I paid my credit union for my car. Excellent. What a relief. I just wanted to share since I have no one to tell aside from my spouse. That is excellent. Excellent. Now it's time to do full emergency fund, unless you did it out of order and already have it. Newman Enterprises. Hello, Newman. Baby step 1 priority. I have a question. We're in baby step 1 trying to save the first $1,000, but we have some immediate needs coming up. Husband work, trucks, needs new tires and brakes immediately? Or can you save up the $1,000 first and then cash flow the new tires and brakes? So that's what you should do. You shouldn't say, okay, I'm going to start this plan. I'm going to do baby step 1, which is save $1,000. Oh, but we need to do this right now. And so if it doesn't need new tires right this second and the brakes can last another month and be fine, then don't do it yet. Do we save up for those immediate needs first? Nope. And then start baby step 1. Now, if it becomes an emergency where that has to happen today, then that's an emergency, and then you can take that money back out of baby step 1. But otherwise, you just do baby step 1 until there is an emergency. And until there's an emergency, you don't need new tires or brakes. Those were things we would have used a credit card for in the past, right? That's the past. You can put the past away. So just getting used to paying for everything. We are extremely tight right now, paycheck to paycheck. But I had a little bit left over this week and was going to put that towards baby step 1. That's what you do. Then remember to pay the upcoming expenses. So yeah, so I mean, if the tires are bald and the brakes make lots of noise when you put on the brakes, then yeah, so maybe then you start putting money towards that and even take out of what you already have for emergency fund as well. If it's an emergency, it's an emergency. It doesn't matter if you're just starting the starter emergency fund or not. It's still an emergency. But if it's not an emergency, you finish up the emergency fund first, and then you cash flow it as best you can, if you can. And as I said, if you can't cash flow it and you need it right now, then that's what the emergency fund is for. So you don't have to put it on a credit card, like you said. Tawatson 15. Credit card balance transfer. No, because there's a fee for the balance transfer, so that adds to your debt. A lot of people think that moving it around, even if it's for a zero balance, they think that's a good idea. It's not. Any kind of consolidation or any kind of thing like that, not a good idea. That puts you further in debt because those aren't free. Any recommendations for a good and reputable credit card company? No. That offers fair APR? No. My credit score is not that great. Doesn't matter, so I won't qualify for 0% APR. Right, so don't bother. Just pay it off. I keep seeing ads on Facebook for a company. Do not click on Facebook ads. But they all have bad user reviews on Better Business Bureau. Of course they do. It annoys the crap out of me to pay $300 on 3 different cards, meaning $900 total. Well, you know how you can stop doing that is by paying it off. Pay it off. Spike White says, construction loan with manual underwriting. I think they would still do those. Let's see. Is there any company that does new construction loans with manual underwriting? Churchill Mortgage does manual underwriting, but they've been doing construction loans for only about 1 year. Because their construction loan product is so new, they do not do manual underwriting on it. Okay. If I were doing a purchase of a new or re-owned house, they could do manual underwriting, right? But it's because it's a new construction loan, they do not offer manual underwriting. Here's my situation. Your situation is you don't need to build your own house. A lot of people want to do that, but you don't have to. So that is up to you. And I don't know. I would have said check with Churchill Mortgage because I would have thought if anybody did it, they would. But understandable if they've only started integrating construction loans in their offerings, then that's understandable that they are not doing that yet. So you're on your own for looking for that. Miserable Brain 237. Anyone else struggle with saving but not debt? Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it. So I paid off the debt, and after I paid off the debt, my ex-wife and I paid off the debt. And then after that, I didn't have a problem with it. Because then you put all that money, all that snowball that you're throwing at the debt, like an elf where he's going with the snowballs, you're throwing that at the debt. Instead, guess what you get to do on step 3? You get to pay yourself. And you get to keep that money. And so I was thrilled with that. So I did not struggle with it. I mean, some people may think that debt is important to pay off, but saving is not as important. No, saving is important as well. So let's see. Financially, I'm fine. Good job. I budget, no debt, contributing to my retirement, etc. But I'm struggling to build up 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Okay? I paid off my rental home and purchased 2 modest cars last month with a year-end bonus. I'll build up savings over the next few months, but would like to take care of some home improvements my wife has been hounding me about. And see, that's the problem. That's the problem. So here's the dealio, kids. So you're going through life, anything you want, like these home improvements, that kind of thing, you would just put on a credit card, okay? All of a sudden, you decide, you hear about this country hit guy in Franklin, Tennessee, and you listen to his show or read his book, and you're like, well, that's pretty smart to not have any debt, so I'm going to do that. And so you do that. And so you're not doing any home improvements or anything like that because you're putting all the money to debt. So you're paying that off. And then now, where you should be building up the 3 to 6 months of living expenses, that emergency fund, that is more important than, so it's 3 to 6 months of living expenses, emergency fund, greater than sign, best I can do it, there we go. Greater than sign, and over here is home improvements. So you do the emergency fund first, but then that's the problem. So as before, you would probably just say, all right, well, she wants the home improvements, we'll just put it on a card and do it. You have to cash flow any of that or save up especially for those, and you don't do that while you do not have the full emergency fund. Full emergency fund first, and then you can start a sinking fund for those home improvements. I also have a possible investment opportunity in some real estate looming. Nope. So the investment opportunity would be to buy it in cash. If you cannot afford it in cash, if it is with anybody else, you do not do that. Anybody else struggle with this baby step? Thankful for where I'm at, but yeah, you're trying to do everything all at once now. And so that's why you're trying to find other places for the money to go other than in the emergency fund, and that should be every bit as important as paying off the debt. So you should be putting everything from the snowball into the emergency fund until it is done. And then you address the home improvements. And the home improvements that your wife wants is more important than a possible investment opportunity in some real estate looming that is not going to be paying it off in cash. I'm pretty sure about that. So anybody else struggle with this baby step? No, because I didn't try to do other dumb stuff during it. Jogo427, life insurance. So he says only get term. That is right. No whole life. You are correct. You are a genius, sir. You figured out the Ramsey advice. If I'm 22, I can afford a whole life for... Why are you even... Dave said no. Dave said no. Why are you even investigating it? All right, let's see what he says. For a whole life for $125 a month, and the benefit grows over my entire life, and the rate stays the same. Why is there any reason I should get term at $25 a month? If once term expires now, it costs more, and so forth until I'm dead. With the whole life, I will also have a cash value I can pull from, guaranteed to grow at 1%. And averaging 3 to 5% a year. If I was older, just term might make sense, but I can't see reasoning not to lock in my price with a whole life policy. Okay, so here's the dealio on that. If you get the term at $25 a month, you can put that $100 in the market and make more, make 10% a year average. And that's assuming you're only putting it in a S&P 500 index. That's 10% a year in the S&P 500 index fund. Very easy. Anybody can do that. It's my pal in the Ramsey Show chat, MO, says that's stupid proof. And so you can do that, and you make more than this crap here. Also, if you do not cash it out while you're live, they keep the investment part. They pay the death benefit, but they keep the investment portion of it, and then they build a bigger building for themselves, bigger office building for themselves. So it's just dumb. Dumb, 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 dumb. So if you wanna make less money in the investing part, and where your heirs don't get the investing part of it, if you die, then go ahead. So even if they did get the investing part, it would be lower than it is that you can make in the market. And so I don't understand how people would just, if they Google it, whole life cons on the Google, you would be able to find that out. So people don't want to hear it usually because they want to believe in it so bad, I guess. And also a lot of times it's a friend or family member that's trying to sell this to them, which they shouldn't, because they know how it works. And if they don't believe it's a bad idea, then they don't understand math or something. I don't know. Let's see. Let's do one more here. Entertainment OK 2571 is the Reddit user there. Wanting advice, can't get onto the show, and that is difficult to do. You do have to call. The video starts late. It's 2 hours delayed. And so the live radio show is on from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. The video does not start until 4 p.m. So you don't wait until then. You need to call at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, or a little bit before 2 p.m. Eastern Time to do that. Alternatively, if you still can't get on but would like Ramsey advice from either myself or some of the other people in the chat that could easily be certified financial coaches as well, if they just paid for the course, they do have the knowledge already to be one, then you can just type your question into the chat and we will take care of you as best we can. You will get some answers probably from some trolls or something like that, or from somebody telling you what they did. That might not be the Ramsey advice, but some of us will tell you the Ramsey advice. You can also email me. If you have like one small question, you can email me, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Wanting advice, can't get on the show. 21-year-old engineer making $80K a year. Low cost of living area. Okay, great. No debt, paid off car, etc. Okay. Currently live with parents with monthly expenses around $300. Okay. 21 years old. If you're 18, Dave would like adults to live on their own. So he would like you to move out. I understand. Keeping the expenses to $300 mean you can save up more. I get it. I have $50,000 in a high yield savings account, getting 5% annual percentage rate that I plan to use in my emergency fund. House down payment in the future. Okay. Well, those aren't the same things. So you got to differentiate in that. If you're hoping it becomes enough that you said it's a low cost of living area, so maybe that will be enough by the time you're ready to buy a house. If that will be enough to do that and leave you enough for emergency fund, because you shouldn't buy a house unless you have a 6-month emergency fund. So that's fine. But also if it's your emergency fund that's in that high yield savings account, you do want to make sure you have immediate access to it, because again, the emergency will not wait 1 to 3 days for a transfer. So you do have to have either check writing or debit card privileges on that high yield savings account. So if that's your emergency fund, then at that point you would want to move that to a high yield savings account that does have immediate access to it. Currently company currently gives me 20% into my 401k if I contribute. What? If you contribute what? 20%'s a lot. Or is it 20% of what you put in? Maybe. Let's see what the rest of the question is. 20% into my 401k if I contribute. Should I max out my side of the contribution to begin getting around 40k plus per year? Yeah, I'm not understanding if that's so. If you put in $1, they put in 20 cents. If you put in $1,000, they put in $200. So, I mean, generally you would, but at 21, you might want to take the teenager baby steps, which is you just pile up cash for that upcoming expense of moving out or college. You said, oh, you're an engineer already, so you know. And you said you got no debt, so that means no college debt, unless you're one of the people that thinks that student loans aren't debt. Several people have told Rachel, I don't have any debt. I have student loans, but no debt. Let's see. So that depends on also how fast at 21. It depends on how fast you want to be having that down payment / emergency fund, which again are not the same things. Those should be two different. I mean, you can use one account for it if you can keep those two separate in your mind and not delve into the emergency fund as part of a down payment. So, but otherwise you would do 15% of your gross income into retirement. But you don't have to put anything into retirement. I mean, I would at least get the. I mean, it's difficult when it's like this, where you don't know if they have to put in 20% to match 20%, which is pretty weird, or if it's just 20% of anything or up to a certain amount, which is probably what it is. I will delve into the comments to find out. Should I open a Roth IRA as well and begin contributing to that? So you should only be doing at most 15%, but you don't have to do anything. You can not be in the market into investing for retirement for 3 years while you save up a larger down payment if you would want to do that. So let's see. I'll delve into the comments on this one. Oh, I can't do opening new. Well, this is the last one, so I'll just go ahead. All right. It's not necessarily financial advice, but I would look at moving out by, let's say, 23, 24. It's already 23. So, age 23, 24. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. The person said, definitely will be thought process was to get used to this now and just act like I never had the money to begin with. Yeah. Well, originally I only have to contribute 5%. I think to get the huge match, I'm just thinking it would be better to match. So again, we don't understand what he is talking about and what it's limited to. I think the limit is 69K with employer contributions? Question mark. My thought is that I could contribute 20K plus and get another 15K each year, and both contributions would go up each year with my salary increase. It is 23K not including employer, right? Max out. Traditional versus Roth 401k. You're saying that Roth is better for the time being for always. Roth is better for always. Somebody told him to go to Boggleheads, and he joined the community at Boggleheads. I'm just looking to figure if the 20% thing is legit. Haha, pretty crazy, but it is true. Let's see, if you have matched it up wrong. Okay, here we go. If you put money in 401k to maximize your match. If it's really 20% of your salary, that would shock me, but if it is, then yes, put 20k in to get a 20k. I wonder. I would verify that with HR immediately. Let's see if he says. Nope. Okay, let's see. No. So 20% is crazy. I mean, engineer, so you never know. But 20% match. So that's like, so I guess if you invest 20%, or no, or just is 20% of whatever you put in up to, and the max is 69k apparently it said. All right, so I would just get clarification on that. And again, you can do whatever you want. If you want to have a larger down payment faster, you can not invest for up to 3 years. And if you want to take your time with it, you can invest and do also do savings as well. Alrighty, once more. This is the article I did the video on today, and this is the one that I'm going to do the follow-up with, because they didn't say that they only make 180k in that first article, and that so you don't think that it's as crazy as it actually is. Alrighty, so wrapping up the answering your financial questions with Coach Steve Money. Once more, if you'd like to hear tons and tons of questions, thousands of questions from Reddit have been answered. The Answering Your Financial Questions with Ramsey Solutions Certified Coach Steve Money, and that playlist is available. And again, this is episode 66, so there's a ton of them. Music, I have 8 Ramsey adjacent songs, all basically like parodies of other songs, but it just basically gives the advice and talks about some of the personalities, some of the co-hosts. And of course, the Ramsey Show After Show, which there will be 2 coming up on February 28th, this coming Wednesday, and on March 20th. And those will happen at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, right after the Ramsey Show video on YouTube ends. And this show, Answering Your Financial Questions, is every Saturday and Sunday at Ramsey time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Thanks again for 300,000 hours watched. It's like 3,450 something, I think, right now. So dangerously close to 3,500. And then one day I'll magically hit that 4,000 hours and I can actually get $1 or $2 a month for doing this. But I will keep doing it for free regardless of that. I mean, I'll take it, but like I said, I would, if there was no possibility, if I wasn't getting enough views for that, then I would do this stuff anyway because I enjoy it so much. And again, I'm Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach, and if you've got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me at calendly.com/Coach Steve Money. That is a video conferencing appointment, so you can do that from anywhere in the world. You can email me about being coached or anything else on my YouTube channel at coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Channel donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively, can be Cash App, $CoachSteveMoney, or a Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You can have me on the gram at coachstevemoney. And of course, this YouTube channel is youtube.com/coachstevemoney, where I'll also be playing more Tomb Raider Anniversary tonight. Old Man Video Gaming Retro Edition. Alrighty. Make smart financial decisions every day, and please subscribe, like, and comment, and thank you so very much if you've helped me out by doing that before. Bye.